Hello everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of New Music Finds number 69. So this is where I like to collect together all the different music that I've purchased over the past week and present it to you. And I get it from different places like my local record stores, but also online retail like Amazon, eBay, and more. And for this past week, I got some interesting stuff. I've got the typical new releases and stuff. I've got some catalog albums and things that I got. I also got a couple things in the mail that just arrived today that I want to go through, and I've even got a special item that one of my viewers sent to me, so I'm super excited about that. We're going to dive into that in just a bit, but before we do, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this with New Music Finds, episode number 69. So we're going to start off with new releases. And first thing up is this, one of the ones that I was super excited about, the reason I'm wearing my Yes shirt, Asia. So this is live at Budokan. It's a 1983 concert that was broadcast via MTV and December 6, 1983. But what's fascinating about it is in place of John Wetton, they have Greg Lake singing and playing bass for them. So you've got Carl Palmer already, Greg Lake, half a ELP, then you've got Steve Howe and Jeff Downs, half a Yes. So interesting lineup there, a little bit different take on the vocals done by Greg Lake. I know some of you diehard fans out there didn't like it, kind of a thing. I'm always sort of open to that what if scenario, what if John Wetton hadn't been in the band and Greg Lake had, or what if it had stayed that way? John Wetton came back and he ended up doing the follow-up album, the third album from Asia, the original lineup at least. And, it is what it is. But for this instance here, Greg Lake was the front man. And that was really fascinating. And something I really liked was that not only did we get nice packaging here, but we got a good booklet too, right up it, which does explain why, Wetton was out of the band. They were having some issues and not getting along, and so he was out of the band. They brought in Greg Lake. Later on, the label talked Wetton into returning, which is why he came back. Now, a couple of y'all also mentioned in comments about track number 2, Time Again. You didn't like the sound on that. On the CD version itself, it actually stipulates that that is a mono recording and the rest of it is in stereo. Now, in order to broadcast this thing the way that they did back in the day, they had to send it out all in mono, split it down the middle to make it sound like stereo. But in this particular case, I guess something happened to the track number 2, Time Again, and they had to go with the mono recording of it here. So don't let track number 2 fool you on this. Everything from track 3 on is in stereo. It sounds fantastic. I personally don't have an issue with track 2 on it, but I know some of you audiophiles out there did. So just letting everybody know about that. Great recording though, sounds fantastic. Definitely worthy of adding to your collection if you are a fan of Asia and Yes and so forth. All right, next one up was a pretty cool one too. Michael Monroe, I Live Too Fast to Die Young. He's always got really interesting guest players, or not a guest, but I mean his band. In this particular case, Steve Conte. I'm a big fan of Company of Wolves, where Steve Conte comes from, a New York-based band. So he's in the lineup here. You also got Carl Rockfist on drums, coming from Danzig, amongst a number of others. And of course, you got Sammy Yaffa. Can't leave him out. So you've really got two guys from Hanoi Rocks, Michael Monroe, Sammy Yaffa. Very cool. I've got to dig into this a bit more. Nothing immediately jumped out and grabbed me on it the way some of his other albums do. Sometimes there's just that track that is the one I want to go back to over and over and over again, kind of a thing. That didn't happen on this. It doesn't mean that's not a good recording. It just means I'm going to give it another shot. I'm going to have to dig into it. But it is solid from start to finish. There's nothing on there that I wanted to skip past or anything like that. There just wasn't one, that immediately recognizable sort of thing. All right, so I also got some catalog stuff in the mail. I got a Prism album, Canadian band, great AOR band. Young and Restless is the name of this one here. And not exactly sure the year, the release on that. I think it's early 80s type era stuff, but I have a best of by them, and I picked up some other stuff, and I'm just trying to flesh it out. A number of their albums are out of print, so I'm having trouble digging them up, kind of a thing. But I've now got 3 of their albums and 1 best of. My favorite being Beat Street. So if you guys are asking which Prism release is my favorite, it's Beat Street. I've always really enjoyed that album. But there is a best of out there, and a great way to check out this Canadian band and dive into them. And they've had a lot of cool different people come through their ranks over the years, or guests and stuff like that, including Bryan Adams, Jim Valence, Bruce Fairbairn, number of different people like that. So it's a band worth checking out if you never heard of them. All right, so I went to my local Barnes & Nobles and picked up the latest issue of Mojo magazine. I'm not a big magazine fan because you can get everything so readily available through the internet these days. News is out right away. Magazines take a month to publish. By the time you get them, they're outdated and stuff. So I don't generally focus too much on magazines, but Mojo had a really cool CD that came with it, a release, and it's this. Grateful Dead Live, 1971 and 1978, and it's a selections from, it's called From the Bay to the Pool, and it's got 10 tracks on it, and it collects it together from all different live albums that they've got. Ladies and Gentlemen, it's got stuff from Europe 72, Listen to the River St. Louis, the Closing of Winterland, the Cornell, again from Europe, a couple other different ones, Skull and Bones, and so forth. So it's just a compilation. You know, if you're a Grateful Dead fan, you've probably got all of this sort of stuff. But I really like these sort of things, and it's a one-off thing that you can't buy, you know, in your record stores and stuff like that. So as a collector, I wanted to add this to my collection. It is just a cardboard sleeve. There isn't, you know, booklet or anything like that, but it does list all the tracks and stuff like that. And I thought that was a fairly cool thing. What was also cool is these Rush postcards. And so very cool special art that was done. And they came as a sheet. I cut them down into the postcard. This is what the back of them look like. But I thought that was cool. I always like getting that little bit of extra something. And for those of you Rush fans that are out there, that was kind of a cool little thing there. So added that. That came from a magazine as well. And as I mentioned, I got a couple things in the mail. This one, new release here. And it says William DuVall, shipped from him. So Atlanta, Georgia. Don't know if that's just where his stuff comes out of or where he lives, but cool nonetheless. So let's cut into this. Be very careful using my X-Acto there. And see, you know, I like when people know how to package things. Bubble envelope, cardboard on either side of it, like so. And look at that, behold. Signed by William DuVall. So this came out June 10th. I had it shipped to my office, so it actually arrived on June 10th. I just wasn't at my office to get it, so I had to wait until today. But it's signed, it's out on June 10th. Digitally, it's also out on June 10th, but it's not being released for another month physically to places like Amazon and your local record stores and stuff like that. So really good deal. You know, you get it for a decent price. You got to pay $5 or so shipping. So it was $10 or $11, but you add in the $5 shipping, give or take 15, 16 bucks. But it's autographed, so I'm willing to pay that, you know, to get that. Plus the money goes straight to the artist. So this is a pretty cool release here. I haven't dug into it too much. It's simply called 11/12/21 Live in Studio Nashville. And so William DuVall, if you don't recognize that name, sorry, I should have mentioned it up front, lead vocalist for Alice in Chains. And this here has him doing a straight run through in the studio, no overdubs, with a power trio. So him along with a bassist, he's on guitar, bassist and drummer. His last album was all acoustic, just him and an acoustic guitar. So this one here, interesting, he's jamming out electric. He does 2 of the songs from that first album. The rest of the stuff is new, but it's live in the studio. So pretty cool. It is considered to be his second solo album. So it's not just some tide me over sort of thing. It is actually his second solo album. So listening to it for the first time today. Gonna have to give it a bit to digest and see how it is and really listen to it. But I loved his acoustic album, so I'm super excited for this and checking it out live or electric. And you definitely get that vibe of the Alice in Chains sound in the electric nature, the way the vocals are done on this and everything. So if you're a fan of Alice in Chains, I think you will like this solo release, even if you didn't care for the last one. All right. Then I got this special one here coming from Paul Holmes in Ireland. He sent me a shirt. And I like this, Let's Rock, coming all the way. It took a couple months to get to me, but hey, you know, super excited to get this. So let's dig into this. Let's see what this is, this special thing. And of course, look, he knows how to package things. He's got it in a nice plastic thing. I think I'll hang on to that for something future, but Def Leppard shirt. He contacted me and he asked me my shirt size and said, I've got a great Def Leppard shirt for you. And I love it. It's the purity of it. I mean, look at the Yes shirt I'm wearing. Okay, first of all, my favorite color is blue. Second of all, I just like the purity of the Yes logo on here. So what could be better? I now got one for Def Leppard blue with just the original yellow and red logo. So I'm super excited about this, Paul. Thank you so much. I'm going to be wearing this in future videos. It's also really soft and nice. So don't know where he picked this up necessarily. It is Def Leppard official merchandise though, so that's always very cool. We like to support our favorite bands. Nothing on the back, but I'm okay with that. Like I said, I'm very much into the purity of just logos and things like that. So, hey, you know, I lucked out pretty good this past week. 3 new releases here, right? The William DuVall, the Michael Monroe, and the Asia. Got me a cool catalog release, Prism, great Canadian band. Got some cool stuff via magazines, you know, can't beat that. And just to top it all off, I got this great shirt. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this and certainly got some ideas out of these things here. Maybe you'll want to go and grab yourself a Def Leppard shirt or something too, or find those magazines. But there's always great stuff out there to check out and whatnot. So again, hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments. Let me know your thoughts. Have a great day, and I'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye-bye, everyone.